How you doing, everybody? It's Thursday, it's the 20th of April 2011, and it's coming up to 9 o'clock in the evening, and I just want to touch on a couple of things if I can this evening. Before I start this video, I just want to thank everybody for all their concern and passing on their condolences and all the rest of it. It's much appreciated, and that's basically. I just want to thank you. Okay. Really, what I want to talk about is I kind of half-raised this issue last night, and I just want to continue it a little bit. And I want to talk about insurance. Basically, what it is, it's a kind of like a form of life insurance. And we all know, I mean, the vast majority of people who live in the Western world and they have a car, they have to have car insurance. It's to run into somebody else or whatever, okay? And again, the vast majority of people who live in Western Europe also have some form of house or home insurance, alright? And the only reason why they have it is because it's a kind of like it's a policy. Obviously it is what it is. It says it on the tin, as it were. It's an insurance policy for what might happen. Nobody wants it to happen. Nobody wants their home to burn down. Nobody wants to have a workman come into their home and fall through the ceiling and break his hip or something like that and get sued for 50,000 euros or 100,000 euros or something, or whatever they might get sued for. So, it's just an insurance against what might happen, and an eventuality which is probably not going to happen, but which might happen and would be very costly if you didn't have the insurance. That's all. Okay? So it's probably a flawed concept in many ways, but it doesn't matter. A lot of us, certainly I have it for my car. You have to have it for your car, because driving around you could kill somebody and then you'd be in serious doo-doo, or injure them badly or whatever. Okay? And same thing with the house. And that's how I view the food larder I have. Like, I have a smallish food larder. I don't have a big one. I should have a better one and a better organised one. I only have a small one. But that's really what it all is. I mean, if you raise that conversation in general, social chit chat, and you said, my car's insured, everybody would say, well, sure, we all know that, everybody's car's insured. You said, my home's insured. And then if you said, well, I have a food larder set aside in case there's a big crisis, an economic or political crisis, they'd look at you like you've got four heads. But it's just the same principle applying. Nobody wants there to be a societal mishap. Nobody wants society to become disorganised and implode in on itself. Nobody wants that. But we're witnessing idiots and morons and criminals who run our society. And that's who they are. They're incompetent criminals who run our society. We can see them all every day. And their debt, they have let private debt, should I say, be taken and put into the public purse. And now we're responsible for huge and colossal debts of all these elitists who've gone belly up, or not gone belly up, but have had this debt and have transferred it to us, incrementally to us. So it's, we're witnessing this, and we're seeing how it's impinging on society, and how it's going to basically, there doesn't look like there's going to be an easy way out of it. One way or another, the present order is going to go into a deep, deep, deep crisis. One way or another. There doesn't seem to be any way around this. And at its basis is the whole essence, the whole concept of debt. That's what because it's all based around debt. If the debt was negated, there wouldn't be any problem. But the problem is the debt is there, and the debt has been transferred from private debt to the public purse and put on us as little individuals, us as the citizenry of Europe, us as the citizenry of North America, us as the citizenry of any other states that are seriously indebted. And that's what's going on. So if we believe, and I believe that that's what's going to happen, I don't control it. But I'm not stupid and I don't know what way. But this is an insurance policy on my part. Simple little insurance policy. That I have a load of goodies that I can live on for a couple of months. And I'm not going to be scrambling and running around shops. Because there won't be anything like that. Please believe me. If a crisis breaks out tomorrow, within 2 or 3 days, all supermarkets, all shops will be cleaned out. Gone. Alright. Now, I want to pose you a simple little question. Say I have a clatter of corned beef in cans. They're normally half a kilo. They're normally about 500 grams. Okay? And I have one of those and I have 2 cans of beans. And I decide I'm going to trade these and I go out, have them in a haversack and I go out onto the street and I meet 2 people and they come towards me and one of them has a silver eagle in his hand and the other has a bag, and inside the bag is about a pound of garlic, say 500 grams of garlic, and about a pound or a couple of pounds of onions. And he wants to trade and he said to me, I've no protein, I need protein for my house, and do you have any protein to trade? And you say, yeah, I've got some corned beef here. And like, who are you going to trade it with? And the guy who has the silver eagle, he says to you, I'll give you that for your corned beef and your tins of beans. Who are you going to trade it with? I know who I'm going to trade it with. I'm going to tell the guy politely who has a silver dollar to keep a silver dollar. I don't want your silver dollar. I want food. I want to trade food with food, because in a societal collapse or a societal crisis, there's only 3 things that are important. There's not 20 million things that are important. There's only 3 things that are important. And the 3 things are food and water, the primary things, and then clothes, and then shelter, warm shelter. And it's in that order. And what happens is the clothes and the warm shelter kind of are put a little bit behind what's the immediate thing every day. The immediate thing every day, you have to feed yourself and you have to friggin' get water. And I don't want somebody giving me silver dollars. To be honest, I want to trade what food I have for other food that I probably don't have, that I might need. Now I'm going to try and make sure that I have enough food for about 10 weeks. I have enough food and enough water for about 10 weeks. But if I don't, I'll have to trade it. I'll have to trade what food I have, because I think that's the time it's going to last. I think it'll last 10 weeks, 3 months. That's the time I think that that thing will last, until it's resolved. Because if it goes any further, well, it's all going to be in the lap of the gods then. And it's really going to implode then. I mean, it's going to be like Armageddon then. But I don't want to think about that. I want to think about just a problematic internal collapse of society and how I'm going to deal with it. And I'm going to deal with it as best I can. And the best way I can see me dealing with it is having a supply of food. That's my insurance. I don't want it to happen, but that's my insurance. And that's of primary importance to me. I worry about gold and silver and all the rest of it. So it's going to go food and water, clothing, shelter, gold and silver and all that stuff. That's all going to be on down the line. But those are my priorities. Now, I just want to hear what people think about that, because that's how I see it. I think trading food for food is very straightforward, very easy. When you start getting into other things, like, how do you deal with a guy who's got the silver dollar? How do you deal with him? What is he going to do if he doesn't if you think that, or he tells you that your tin of corned beef is only worth $0.50? What is he going to do? Cut the dollar in half and give you $0.50? I mean, like, what? Where? Like, how do you trade this? I mean, you have to be rational here. To trade leg with leg. Like, food's easy to understand. I have this food, you have that food. Can you give me, like, you know what I mean? But you introduce a derivative, and that's all metal is. Metal's a derivative. It's all right in a normal society where you have somebody who arbitrates the value of it and tells you. Who's going to tell you in a society like that what the silver dollar's worth? Maybe worth nothing. Maybe worth $2, maybe worth $4, maybe worth $50, could be worth $200. Who's going to tell you what it's worth? Society will have done it as your father. Society will have imploded. Like, it's not going to be a normal society that we know. So that's all I want to say. I want people to think about it. Okay, I want people to think about it. And the final thing I just want to say is very straightforward. Is tomorrow there's going to be a thing called a royal wedding. It's going to take place over in England, the UK, and a young girl is going to be inducted into this family, this GUELPH family. And a couple of people have raised this issue about where did I get this name, this GUELPH name. So I've put links up and you can have a look at it. This present woman, Elizabeth GUELPH, her grandfather signed as a signatory, he had to sign a name change in 1917, and they're Germans, they're all Habsburgs, and he had to sign his name on the actual name change document, and it's from the house of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. That's their house, in other words, like, you know, the familial house, as it were. But their actual name, their actual surname is GUELPH, Guelph, and that's what he signed on the original document. Now when you see it today, and it's on the internet, that's a 1958 amended document. And the reason they did that was because it's kind of like a political thing, really. What happened was the name GUELPH is an English derivation of what the real name is. The real name is DIE WELFIN, the Wolf, which is like really what her name should be, Elizabeth Wolf. That's what her name should be. And how all this came about was Victoria, Queen Victoria, initiated all this. And sometimes in the past they've used the name Witten, but that's not the reality. The reality is, when you check it out, it's GUELPH. It's a German familial name within that house, that Saxe-Coburg-Gotha house, and it's been used for about 800 years. And anyway, the only reason why I raise it is this young girl's been inducted into it tomorrow. This family, very dangerous family. If you get brought into their web and you cross them at all, they will cross you out. That's what happens. So I hope she's read up on this blonde one that married that Charlie fella, and she produced that fella she's going to marry tomorrow. That's his mother. His mother was done in by them. So it's just interesting stuff. It's very, very interesting stuff. We live in extraordinary times, and this is a family that, as I say, goes back 800 years, and they're now probably the most important economic and political family in the world, from a monarchist point of view, and also from an economic and a political point of view. And that's all. It's sad that it's all a political nonsense that goes on about it, but it's just part of the whole dynamic between the whole monarchist principle, the whole essence of monarchy, which is inherited privilege. That's what, at its core, that's what monarchy is all about. Inherited privilege, and, you know, empire, the concept of empire and domination over peoples and all the rest of it. And so you've now got this as a continuum now. So it's going to be pushed down our throats, big monarchist sort of thrust for the next, probably for the foreseeable future. Well, certainly well in the next year, we'll have this wedding thing forced down our throats. So it's going to go on tomorrow. It's just interesting to see it. If you want to find out about this woman's name, I'll put a link to it. And I'd like to hear what you think about the whole business of food versus the gold and silver business. Okay, listen, we'll talk more. Bye.